Boot her down?
Yeah. I heard that. Discord.
Discord's gonna make Discord noises, but you know what? We're gonna make weekly, daily, Wednesdays noises. They sound like a pig one that might have had a little too much caffeine.
Oh. Yes. Or ate too much herring.
Herring was laced with something weird, man.
Hi, Steve husband. Hi, Artherin.
All right, that is good. Yeah, we were just talking about tracking down OBS bugs, and like sometimes easy bugs are the best ones. Boom, there we are. Hey, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Hi,
Just
Mir.
getting the bits. And
Mir
the
PPC.
bobs.
How are you doing today?
Heather.
It's a
All
nice,
right.
beautiful day.
Let me check. Yeah, we got that shot. Good. Good. We're good. No hitching. Look at that. Ah, it's
Yay,
magic.
it's clean.
Yeah, right before.
Hi, Decrezi.
Hello, everybody. I was watching, like what the latest scuttlebutt is on the Apple upcoming announcement for their VR headset.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very curious. Because
Yeah,
when
this is
Apple
gonna
does
be
something,
interesting.
everyone else tries to do something. This is going to be one of those weird spaces where everybody else has already tried to do something. And I don't know. I don't even think Apple is going to be able to convince people to wear crap on their head.
Yeah.
Bump into walls, man. I don't. If they can, I will be impressed, you know? Because I was right there with all of you, and don't pretend you weren't there with me, when Apple released the iPhone, going, man, ain't nobody going to use a phone without a keyboard on it. Get out of here, Apple. Ain't nobody going to buy that. You're gonna sell like 10
yeah.
of them. I was wrong. I admit it.
Software keyboard for the win.
And if you go back and you try to use a physical keyboard these days, you think everything's like, oh, it's going to be great, right? Until you try to like throw some emojis down. Or you go to copy and paste something, you're like, that's an extra step now. And you're like, yeah, we're just getting used to on-screen keyboards.
Yeah. I still don't like them, but we are used to them. And sometimes I do hook up my Bluetooth keyboard to my mobile just because it just wants some tactile
If I'm going to
feel.
go somewhere, if I'm just getting out, like doing the coffee shop thing, I will bring my keyboard folio with me in case I want to do some typing.
Yeah.
And write
Yeah.
some scripts, work on some show notes. But outside of that, no. No, I still want like a high quality block of glass to put on my desk with
Yes.
keyboard functionality and swipe and gestures and all that fun stuff. Like, you know, basically the Google keyboard type thing. But make it ergonomic, which is easy to do when you can just move the pixels. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Oh, Mir, I'm happy your boot loop resolved itself. And hello, Fute. Fute, hello, where can I find the Linux? Well, you can find it right here, Linux Weekly Daily Wednesday.
There's plenty of Linux all around.
Yeah.
Just not on
It's-
Twitch. You type in Linux and Twitch, it's like, well, there's our channel.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We got about 7 minutes before we're going to get live.
Okay.
We're going to be talking with a couple of things. Jill's going to tell you about Ubuntu Cinnamon. I'm going to tell you about a new privacy browser, the Molda browser. Then we got some
Interesting,
Pine
yeah.
64 updates and news. Thanks to Arthur, who dropped those into the suggestions. And
Yeah.
a Eurorack Raspberry Pi module. That's right.
Beep boops.
But it's one of those Raspberry Pis that you can buy,
Yes.
not the other ones.
I will be right back.
Alrighty. And we will get underway. Has anything crazy happened today? I haven't had a really much of a chance to check online and see. Do I dare? I don't like looking at Google News, man. Like Google News has no idea and I've taken the time to go through like Google News and like, this is what I'm interested in, you know, Linux, SBCs, SOCs, and open source and all these fun things. And it's like, nah, I'm not going to tell you about that. Let's see what you have. Oh, there's a new Ryzen processor? What? All right, hang on. The only crazy I was able to fall asleep this week. You weren't able to sleep because you were sick? That's an interesting one. Like, did you have like a crazy fever? Or something? Because I know if I'm too hot, man, I could not go to sleep no matter what. Just didn't feel tired. Oh, isn't that always... I run into this all the time. Maybe you do at home. The time my brain really wants to like get involved and start a new project is usually somewhere around 2 to 2:30 in the morning. I was like, man, I got a great idea. Here's some serotonin. Here's an energy boost. Let's get to this project. I'm like, no, we're laying down. Shut up, brain. And sometimes, you know, you would think you would conquer this, getting on in years as I am. No, I still lose to the brain. There are times where I'm like at 2:45. I'm like, fine, I'll get up. We're going to work on this. And then it's going to throw your sleep schedule out of whack for the next week and a half. 2:30, time to hack. So AMD has another Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. All right, beats the camp. Pricier. Faster for gaming than the 7950. Oh, it's the fastest gaming chip. Oh, where are those benchmark digits? What is this? The entire test weight. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Where the video games at? Oh, I know you. Tom. Man, I remember reading this when it was just Tom's website. Like it was just Tom reviewing stuff he had around the house. Now it's like it's a thing. It's weird. You know, it would be really dope if you'd included some gaming benchmarks, Tom. That would have been really sweet. $400. And I say that as somebody like saving up to buy an Epic CPU, but still. 162 watts, not too bad. 96 megs of cache, 8 core, 16 thread, 4.2 gigajoules. DDR5, oof. DDR5's getting better. I'm talking about like stability of it. But I remember like when we first started with Ryzen, and memory was, it was rough. First couple, I was like first 6 months. Oh, okay. Give me gaming performance at, let's compromise. Let's go for 1440p. All right, which one is who? $7,800. Where's the 7,800 on this thing? You need to highlight this. All right. There it is. Higher is better? Oh, wait. Ryzen 7 7800X 3D? I mean, I guess it's not bad. It's not as fast as the 7950X 3D or the Ryzen 5. Oh, that's not good. Hey, look, there's Core i9. 1440. Why are we using GTA? Why? I know people still play it, but like at this point, like benchmarking GTA is like, yes, this is how it'll run your retro games, man. And I feel the same way about The Witcher 3. Can we quit dragging out like 8, 9-year-old games? I'm like, it runs them really well. I'm like, great, it'll make a great vintage gaming rig, retro gaming rig. Warhammer 3. Come on. Whatever. Whatever. I'm not going to buy one. You know what? I would buy one, AMD or motherboard manufacturers. Here's what you need to do. Take those PCI Express. What are we at now with PCI Express on these new boards? Is it still 4 or are we already at 5? Are we already at 5? Seems like that's what the I don't know. Is there like some NVMe's 30 PCI Express 5.1? Possibly. But what I would like is, like, even if it was like PCI Express by 4, to take some of those lanes and like bust them down. Bust them down. Give me, 5 or 6. Give me like 3 or 4. Well, you know what? Just give me like 3x16s and 3x8s on a consumer motherboard, and I'm going to be happy. That's what I want to do, Jill. I want to get like, how they have those little tiny thermal death box, the small form factor.
Oh, yeah.
What I want to see if I can do is make like a small form factor Threadripper.
Oh,
it's just going to be really long. It's going to be a small form factor case, but it's going to be EATX.
Okay.
It's going to be like super long, like longer than an Atari 2600 used to be.
But in a thin case.
Oh yeah, like really small. Put little feet on it.
That would be cute.
I don't know what we're going to do about the power supply. We'll have to use an external power brick.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, let me pop up, grab something to drink, and we'll get underway, everybody.
Okay.
Get a nice, clean, reasonably sized short show today.
Yeah. Hello, Ralph 9900. Finally, it looks like it did. Okay. Do. We are live. Do. I know, it was already posted in there, but I figured I'd post. What? Oh, yeah. So, sorry about that. One thing, it took me a little long when I had to leave is I had to feed my kitty and let him outside so he wouldn't disturb me during the show. So, my mug this week is my Twitch mug. I haven't used this one in a long time. I think it's actually been a couple years since I got one of my Twitch mugs out. I have a couple different variations, but I do like this Twitch mug. I got I was wanting it with purple, but they didn't make a purple one. But I have other mugs that have the logo in purple. Yeah, it's not twitching enough. It's very simple, but it's really high quality. A real high quality glass, and but yeah, it isn't as showy as my other ones. I have one of a Twitch sippy cup that I love. That's purple. But yeah, I realized, I haven't used that in a few years on LWW. Yeah. I was telling Ben earlier, it's been, it's allergy season time, and I was, well, this morning I had a sneeze attack, and I took Advil, so I felt a headache coming on. But a lot of us are going through that because it's spring. Spring has sprung. And here in LA, we had so much rain. And so we have lots of new blooms of new plants. And it's driving us all up the wall, including my Steve husband, who honestly, I don't think he slept very well last night because he was up with allergy attack. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no fun, huh, Mir? Yeah, and I was, felt like I was getting a fever. That's one of the symptoms I get when I have allergy issues. I get fever. Hay fever, I get that really bad. And so it must be in bloom. Oh my, no fun. Retaining wall falling. Is it falling over, Mir? Or just like sinking? Yeah, that's an expensive fix.
There we go. All right.
Yay, there's Ben.
Had to do the social media things.
Oh, yeah, there's that too. At a 20-degree angle. Oh, wow.
That's good.
Yeah, it's all that rain probably, huh?
I bet.
Yeah, it's been sinking a lot of things here in California.
You run into, especially with like any places where you don't get a lot of precipitation.
Yes.
Just say rain, Grandpa. Okay, rain. You don't think about it, but a lot of stuff collects. And this can even make the streets kind of dangerous. You think about oil and other things.
Oh, yeah.
They're just sitting there and they get caught up with water. When it, gravity gets hold to it and they find the lowest area to go flow to. So that can be like extra types of mess.
Yeah, it really can. And we've been having like lots of sinkhole issues and that kind of thing. But every time we have a real big rainy season, that happens. But it's like every 20, 30 years. So people don't think about it. It's definitely a thing.
All right, I think I have everything together and ready to go. Let me mute that video just in case. Where did I go to be on this video? There we go. Looks like he's playing Space Invaders. Get that going, and we're good there. Things are about to take place. Hopefully they'll be good.
Yes.
All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Vince Stone, joined each and every week by Jill Bryan. Hey Jill.
Hello. Hi.
Doing all right?
Really good. Yes.
Sneezing? No more sneezing?
No more sneezing. I've been having allergy attacks, but all is good now, and it's a beautiful day outside.
It's a bit warm here. It is.
Oh, okay.
We're getting into that. We kind of had that false start. It's like, hey, it's spring. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe we'll get open when it's like, psych, it's winter again. Fine. But now it's definitely, I can feel the heat. I look forward to each and every summertime here with you. You know what? The show's not too bad because it's reasonably short. It's brutal doing this Gamecast.
Yes.
What do you do with the studio? You insulate it from sound.
Yeah, and thus making it hotter.
It's just an oven, even with the AC on. I have one little AC vent in this old house, in this room, just zzz, it just melts. It gets hot enough to cut the camera off some nights.
Yes, it does.
It's fun time. What have you been up to, man? Anything new?
Oh, wow. Well, something really fun is I did an interview with an Ordinary People podcast about my history in Linux, computers, and how I started podcasting here on LWW. And it was released after on last Wednesday after our show here on LWW. So that was really cool. And it was a fun interview, and make sure to go listen to it on YouTube, on Spotify, or iHeartRadio. It's on lots of different podcast things.
So the name of it's Unordinary People.
Yes.
All right.
UNORDINARY people. I know it's.
Yeah, I hope you guys get that, just in case they spelled unordinary with like leet speak. It was like UNOR 337.
Yes.
No, they didn't. This is regular unordinary. Yeah, go check that out.
Yeah.
I've been playing around with a couple of things. I know most of you, maybe there's one other person out in the audience, maybe in the future you're going back listening to this, because I have that RME AIO Pro sound card that I use for the show. Got a really good deal on it, got it used. And unfortunately, the professor, the gentleman who was developing the open source drivers, passed away this year, like right at the beginning of the year.
Oh, boy. Poor Ben.
And it was one of those things we found out. I'm like, poor him. Forget about me.
Oh, yeah. Poor him. Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, he had done a lot of good
a lot of good work
with audio and stuff. Yeah, over the years and like VR way back in the day and mixed reality. Yeah, I didn't go, oh, that is terribly inconvenient. How rude of him. No. I was like, oh,
No.
man, that sucks. And all this is like way outside of my wheelhouse. But as with most things, when I do like a guide on how do you set something up under Linux, especially with the audio stuff, that's all you're going to find when you do a search. So we're getting to the point to where you're dealing with bit rot with the drivers where they're not working with the latest kernel. So we got a branch updated to work with 5.18 newer. And I've updated the guide to get that installed. And that's what I've been working on this week, making sure that's a smooth transition, because we're already seeing the GitHub issues. Like it's not compiling with this. This is because we were talking in the pre-show. Go back and listen to that if you're a patron. About how everything's shipping with kernel 6.0 now, because Linux moves so fast, right? You don't think, this time last year, we were on like 5.15.
Wow.
Times have changed. Also, if you didn't catch it, one of our biggest budget how-to guides came out on Saturday. It was a months-long production that we were able to release. I'll show you how to touch a tennis ball to a wall.
Yes, April Fools.
It was an April Fool's joke because I did exactly what I said in the video.
Yes, you did. This is true.
There was no joke. It was like, psych, April Fool's. It's like, nope, that's all that video was. Some people enjoyed it. They had fun with it. Had some really good comments on that video on YouTube. And other people are absolutely dead inside and have no humor. I'm like,
yeah.
Come on. I get it. Listen, I'm as irritated by April Fools as anybody in the tech industry, especially when it's like during the week. Because if it's during a news cycle week, you don't know what to believe, right?
Yeah, I know. I was happy it was Saturday this year because to me it was more fun.
Right.
Because again, you weren't having to separate it from real news and fake news.
Right. Let's have some fun with it. And, if you're of a certain age, you remember Slashdot way back in the day when it went all pink and we had OMG ponies for an entire day.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That was delightful. And, usually, you get suckered every now and then. I probably spent half the day believing, along with the rest of the internet, ThinkGeek got me one time with the George Foreman USB grill.
Oh, yes, that's right. I'd forgotten about that.
I was like, oh, man, that. And I was like, oh, you got me. And actually, it might have been last year. Somebody did a excellent play because we were almost getting ready for that evening to record Linux Themecast Weekly. And they were very sly about it. And they were like, Intel for the new Arc CPUs are going to be leveraging their CPUs on their card for processing. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess that makes sense. And then we put 2 and 13 together. Like, oh, that was an April Spring. Gee.
Yeah.
All right. Well played. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I finished the OBS thing. I finished doing all the audio recording. So if you've been looking to learn how to build your own customized version of OBS and put it in a Debian package, that's going to be available to you. I will have that up for patrons to take a look at. The awesome people, our editing crew, are our first line of defense of me making grammatical errors or other mistakes in videos. That'll go out for you lot to take a look at over the weekend and pick apart. And we'll make any revisions necessary, and we'll get that out to everybody else later next week. But let's talk about Ubuntu with Cinnamon, because we've talked about Cinnamon a couple of times over the past couple of weeks, Jill, because they're officially part of the Ubuntu Spin thing, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Ubuntu Cinnamon is now an official Ubuntu flavor. And actually, it will be official when Ubuntu 23.04 Lunar Lobster is released on April 20th, not April 30th, April 20th. Ubuntu Cinnamon, it takes an Ubuntu base and layers the GTK-based Cinnamon desktop environment over it. And actually, Cinnamon is one of my favorite desktop environments. I really like it for its simplicity, ease of use, especially for the new user. It's really good for those coming from Windows. And but it has one of the cool features is Nemo is used as the default file manager, and Ubuntu's Yaru is installed as the default GTK icon and Cinnamon theme, and it looks beautiful. I love the cinnamon colored theming, and lots of other cinnamon based settings and tweak tools are included. These, they allow you to customize and extend the Cinnamon desktop with all kinds of extra goodies with applets, themes, and other content from the online Cinnamon Spice Hub. And something I wanted to talk about a little bit is Joshua Pesach. I'm not sure if that's the pronunciation correctly of his last name, but Joshua is the Ubuntu Cinnamon lead, and the Ubuntu Cinnamon remix team has been, working on official status in Ubuntu's family of flavors for 4 years. If you can believe that, they've been working really hard. And I've known Joshua in the Linux community for quite some time and have been following his progress on Ubuntu Cinnamon. And I want to point out that Joshua, when I first met him, he was only 10 years old. But when he started this project, he was only 11 years old 4 years ago. So congratulations, Joshua, on this fantastic achievement.
I think this is important things to remember. Like, you don't, ageist works both ways, because remember a couple of months ago, it might have been several months ago, half a year ago, it could have been 30 years ago for all I know at this point. Time's irrelevant, right? We were talking about the person who was bringing back the Mir desktop.
Yeah.
And they were quite young. They were a teenager, but never discount that, You think about like the drive and energy that you had back when you were a teenager. Stick with it, and good things come of it. Like this. Really I'll take the same bit of contention that they did with Ubuntu. What was that, OMG Ubuntu? Yeah. .co.uk, there'll be a link in the show notes, was the default image editor is GIMP.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
I had this happen one time on Debian, and it was my own fault. It was me playing around with something, and I, for whatever reason, BMPs and it was JPEGs, because BMPs I'd had set to open with GIMP, because naturally we're opening with all the JPEGs, which normally just opens with like the little image viewer, right, from GNOME. And it was opening with it, and it was driving me up the wall. Because like GIMP, I don't care how fast of a PC you have.
Yeah, it's slow at loading.
It takes a minute. It takes a second to take a look, and I just need to take just a little peek at that. I'm like, we don't need to bring GIMP into this relationship. So I had to go find the way to do that. So maybe change that to like Risotto or something, lighter than GIMP.
Yeah, definitely. I think, Finn, we've all done that too. I've made that mistake before.
It's, it tries to be clever. I don't know about other file managers, but the one I spend most of my time with is a file manager called Sudar. It comes with XFCE.
Yeah.
And it tries to be nice. If I right click on something and I say open with, and it'll give me a list of applications. It's like, hey, I'm aware that this file type opens with, let's say a WAV file. It's going to say Audacity. Do you want to open it with Reaper? Do you want to open it with whatever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And once you pick that particular application, it moves that up automatically as the default.
Yeah,
for the next
right.
time. And you're like, no, I just needed that to open it with that one time for that. It's like the one time I might have needed to open something with GIMP, right?
Yeah. So then it becomes the default.
I understand. It's trying to be clever. It's a good thing. The good outweighs the bad on that.
Yeah, so I've been, playing with Ubuntu Cinnamon since yesterday's daily build, and I've been very impressed. And they did fix it. There is a web browser now, and it's Mozilla Firefox for the win. So I'm happy to see that. So some of the things that were missing in the previous builds are getting updated and fixed. So I'm sure they'll fix the the image default to GIMP soon.
I would hope so. How long do you think it's going to be before Canonical starts shipping Microsoft Edge as the default?
Oh boy. I don't want to think about that. Although I have to say, Microsoft Edge is a very fast browser, and it's very, very quick.
Well, I wonder if it's possibly as fast as Molvan.
Ah.
Free the
nice
internet
transition,
from
Ben.
mass surveillance with a Molvad browser. What is it? Well, it's a privacy-focused web browser developed in collaboration with Molvad VPN, the project. It's a Tor browser to use without the Tor network, and of course you can use it with a VPN service, and they go through the whole thing. And what is it? When you see a new browser, I'm like, what is this really? Let's take off the mask. And at the end of the day, this is it's open source, but it's rebranded Firefox internals. And I was surprised because this thing is really fast. It's snappy.
Yeah.
You can't say that it's not snappy. And I thought it was Chromium based just by the raw speed of it. I'm like, no, it turns out it's Firefox. They're very, very clear about their business model. This is why I was going to give them a mention. They just come right out and they're like, there's no tracking, no ad stuff. The way we support this is hopefully you will get the Molvad VPN, Jill. And it's reasonably priced for the VPN service, right?
Oh, yeah. It was only $5 a month. I looked into it because I wanted to test their service with the browser. So, I am looking for a new VPN. So, maybe I'll go with Molvad. I was really impressed by the speed of this browser and how well everything's integrated. You can get the extension for other browsers too, of course, Firefox and Chrome.
They get a bunch of stuff in here, just digging through it. The DNS lookups out of the box are done with Molvad's encrypted DNS service. So they got that going on. And browser tracking protection. Firefox has against fingerprinting and plus the ones used by the Tor browser. And if you're wondering, what's Molvad? It seems like a weird name for it. It's a Swedish name for mole.
Yes. That was good. Yes. It's so cute. It's a cute little animal.
It's got
a mole.
Little hat on it.
Yeah, and so me and Ven were talking about this earlier, and yeah, this browser was really zippy. That was one of the first things I noticed about it. It was how fast it was at launching and just loading pages. And it's open source and free of charge, whether or not you are, Molvad VPN user or not. And it is actually a browser built by the Tor project team and distributed by Molvad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, what's cool about this is the Tor browser is actually kind of slow. So because it's using the Onion and
now.
It's much faster than it was.
It's slow these days because when I say slow, people are thinking about the first time they messed around with anything on Tor before we had a Tor browser when we were just connecting to Tor. It would take minutes. No, I mean, it's usable these days. It's roughly the speed of your mobile data connection.
Yeah. So it's they've have done a lot of improvements to the Tor browser, which I use a lot on my on Android. But it's nice to see all that innovation going into the Molvad browser. It's like it's like they cleaned up code or something because it's even faster.
Well, they ripped out a bunch of the stuff that you're not even going to deal with. There's no telemetry in this, and it does come with third-party blocking for trackers. It comes with the block origin built into it, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it does a very one-to-one, a very similar fingerprint for everybody that's using it to confuse anybody trying to collect metadata on this.
Yeah.
And it does that thing where your web page is letterboxed a little bit, so they can't even get proper screen resolution metrics from you. So it's neat. It goes a long way. It's something to go check out. And again, it's open source.
Absolutely.
It's free. And the reason I mentioned it, because they came right out of the gate and they're like, listen, we're not trying to sell you anything. We'd like it if you use our VPN, but we're trying to do it good here.
Yeah. Create a nice, secure web browser.
Yeah. And, I've used Tor browser to, say I've used the Tor browser, but that's kind of the extent of it.
I use it a lot, actually.
I don't, we always have this conversation. We were talking in the pre-show. I'm like, ISP knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they sell that data. Like, if I'm a company that wants that, I'm just going to buy it directly from your ISP. That's cute. I take some precautions. I set up encrypted DNS on my router. But I just did that for the experience of how is this new thing, when the DOH stuff was coming out. And I wanted to learn how to just set it up on a MikroTik. And I did. So I haven't. But that's about it. I run uBlock and I run Privacy Badger and ScriptBlock. Those are
ScriptBlock. No script. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it. I don't really go out of my way. But if you want that, I don't like saying this is an extra layer of security, but maybe this is your flavor of security, right?
Yeah. 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 And what is interesting about it, Ven, is that instead of using the Tor network, you're using the Molvad VPN, which makes sense. So they kind of customized it so that it has all the normal Tor browser tools you're used to, but instead of going through their service, you're going through someone else's service. So it's interesting.
And if you want to download it, there'll be a link in the show notes. And it's just a tar file. Just decompress it. You can run it right from the directory. There's no need to install anything. So you can consider it portable in its own special way.
Yeah.
Yeah, go play with it. Leave us a comment if you think it's good or if it's bad, or maybe it's good, bad, and you're confused. That'd be even better. That'd be a longer comment. Up next, we get a little bit of a April Fool's announcement. But before we get to that, I want to say thank you to everybody supporting the show. Everybody helping us out over at patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. It keeps our little dog and pony show alive, allowed, and up. And that doesn't work with independent, does it?
Oh, yeah.
We tried. There was an attempt there. There's a bunch of stuff you can get. We have a bunch of different levels from chairling all the way up to corporate overlord with bonus rewards and features. Hop into our Discord, get access to that pre super shows and that we bring up for an extra, I think about 5 extra hours of content each and every week if you need something to listen to or watch, because there's a video version as well. And as I said in the beginning of the show, I like to put stuff out. You're going to be the first one to see. I don't really like paywalling stuff. That's not really my style. But, early access has its place. Get first crack at it. And I think that is fair. But we have somebody new this week that we need to thank. Jill Bryant.
Yeah. So Jonas Rulo is our new patron. Thank you, Jonas. Yeah, this is awesome.
I want to give Jonas credit because Jonas, we were talking, it looks like it's very persistent because you'll see in the right hand in the video version, it says pledge, pledge, pledge. It seems like Jonas was having issues trying to get it set up, and that has happened. I've seen that happen before anymore. Then you get the message, they'll pop into Discord like, finally, all right. Hey, what's going on? Also, if you're a Twitch subscriber or patron, I want to invite you to come race with us and hang out with us on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah, we had so much fun. I love the tracks this week, Ben. They're really cool.
I mean, if you're looking for, a crippling addiction, or you would like to rekindle a former crippling addiction, Trackmania is a nice retro racing game. It's from 2011. It runs on anything, runs out of the box on Proton. You don't need anything special. We got a private server that we set up. We throw in 14 tracks every Tuesday. We play around, figure out the ones that we like. Practice on the server. It's open 24/7, so whenever. And you can do asynchronous time checks against each other if you want, because everything's saved in backup, and it's just, all the data is right there on screen. And on Friday, we do a points match, again, just for fun. And it's not racing so much as it is puzzle platforming. And I can't emphasize that enough. Go watch some videos. It's silly. I try to maximize silliness and fun for all the tracks.
We have maps that are so fun and funny to play. We call them LOL maps.
Yeah. They're it's just an excuse to get together. So if you've been looking
Yeah.
for that, I know getting on in age, it's getting harder to make friends. There you go. Come hang out with us. Try before
Absolutely.
you buy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Pine 64 did something that is, I consider brave but borderline foolish, Jill. And that is, as we were saying, April Fools releasing during the week. But do you do an actual news announcement and on April Fool's Day when it's not during? Like, how do we do that?
Yeah. So Pine 64, has some new goodies coming this month. And one of which is the Star 64 will system on chip will be a single board computer will be available for purchase.
You're just going to gloss over the unicorn, huh?
Yeah. I know that was such a cute picture that
there's nothing cute about that. If I saw that at the end of the hallway, I'm running, Jill. I'm not trying to give that thing a hug.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously there's some April Fools in this announcement. There's got to be, but maybe not. So not only is the Star 64 system on chip or single board computer available, but we have the Pine Tab 2 and Pine Tab V is supposed to launch next week on April 11th.
V is the April Fool's joke.
Yes. So it means the Pine Tab V means very good. So I guess that's their April Fools, or is it? Really?
Well, the V stands for very early or vaguely functional. To which, when you're dealing with Pine 64, you're like, I don't know if that's a joke or not, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because you expect to get vaguely functional prototype hardware. That's kind of the business, right?
This is so true, Ben.
It took me a minute of reading that. I'm like, oh, this is the April Fool's Barsh. Okay, all right. Because I was like, okay, you guys are just releasing a new updated tab. I'm like, okay, I get it. It took me a minute.
Yeah. So yeah, same here, because usually WooCache, when he writes those articles, they're all very, serious and it has all the tech and bells and whistles of all their products and all their updates. So it just takes us aback a little bit to realize there is a little bit of April Fools in that well-written article. So the Pine Tab 2 actually will ship with a build of Danked Nix Arch Linux for ARM with KDE Plasma desktop, and it's built around the peppy rock chip RK3555, and this has 4 ARM Cortex A55 cores and ARM Mali G610 MP4 graphics. And we had mentioned about the Pine Tab before in a previous episode, but since it's been a while, I wanted to refresh on the specs because it has a 10.1-inch IPS touch display and is equipped with a pair of USB-C ports, a micro HDMI out, a 3.5 millimeter audio out, and a micro SD card slot, and a 5 megapixel rear camera and 2 megapixel front-facing camera are also on the Pine Tab 2.
I thought that was a Peltier module, and I'm like, I haven't seen one of those since like 99, 2000 when I was playing with them. And yeah, sure enough, that's, if you throw a Peltier cooler on the back of an SoC, that's going to work.
Yeah. And actually, these are going to be very, very reasonable. So the entry-level $160 model offers 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabyte of internal eMMC storage, and the $209 model offers 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 eMMC storage. But both models come with a matching detachable backlit keyboard case, which comes standard and included in the price, which is really, really nice. And as for the Pine Tab V, well, who knows, Ben, maybe this is your mythical unicorn of an x86 single board computer. Maybe it is.
I mean,
or maybe it's just April Fool's.
Somebody's going to be able to release something because, I'm looking through this and like I was looking at this video here with the Salvador showcased a number of retro PC games running on the Box 86. And we've talked about that on Saturdays.
Oh,
running
yeah.
on Pinebook Pro. And I'm looking at, the OG Unreal Tournament, 1999, running a treat. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And I mean, it's running at 60 FPS, which is
very nice.
Pretty just interesting.
On an ARM, yeah.
But here's the thing. Like, let's just talk about the regular PineTab 2. Because, I'm always keeping the original PineTab. They were able to make like 10 of them, and they didn't really sell that when they couldn't get the parts for them. I forget exactly what the reasons were. But they do bring up a couple of things about PineTab 2, because it's going to be shipping with Arch, which I thought was interesting. Dank Nix?
Yeah,
Arch?
yeah, Dank Nix.
So it's going to be shipping with KDE Plasma. Wi-Fi is going to be disabled on it because it don't work so well. And they take some time in this article to address some of the valid concerns about the Potato SoC, the CPU, GPU that is on PineTab 2, because it ain't that great. Like, I don't care how you want to spin it, it's not that great. And we're talking about concerns about like without built-in, without hardware acceleration, can this thing play a 1080p 60 YouTube video? And Magic 8 Ball comes back on that and is like, yeah, maybe, but you don't have to worry about it because the panel resolution, they finally said that. Maybe they've said it before. I couldn't find it. Initially is 1280 by 800.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I remember we were looking for that before on a previous episode and didn't find it.
I'm sure they've put it out. That was the first time I was like, oh, yeah. Like, again, these are not meant as, full-on consumer products in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So you gotta look through the right lens, but I gotta look at like, can I justify buying? It would just be to play around with, because even like your lower mid-range tablets right now are supporting 2K on screens. So there is that. Also, this is going to sound rude. But it's not. If you're going to show off the performance of something, I'm like, let me show you guys the browsing performance of the PineTab 2. Like, okay, let's check that out. Let's go to a page with anything on it. Like, that's got some photos on it, but let's go to like, hit the Verge, man. Because like, none of this is intensive. I would expect anything to be able to run this. Free pro tip. Jo has no opinion because she doesn't want to say anything negative at any point. I'm just being honest with you because you need to hear it. That's it, Jo.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to seeing the performance of the tablet, and I have a feeling by the time they come out with their PineTab 3, it'll probably be 1080 and a faster processor.
Well, I think the best thing you can do with the PineTab 2 is what they're doing right now, managing expectations.
Yeah,
it's like, this is what you're going to get. This is what it can do. I don't see a big market for it. But, maybe. Who knows? Now.
Nice.
Let's talk about this critter. That's right.
That's cool.
That's a Eurorack, and no, they're not playing Galaga on a Eurorack module. Be neat if they could. You know what? You could probably make it happen. What is this? Well, this is the build guide. If I can get to the right page. This is the EuroPi, completely reprogrammable Eurorack module based around a Raspberry Pi. I know you can't buy one. Aha, wait a minute, Pi Pico, which actually exists out in the wild. This got my attention because I know people love their synth modules, and this allows you to DIY. It comes with a full bill of material that you can put together, and if you want to make like oscillators, sequencers, quantizers, I don't know, that's a word, harmonics, anything you come up with, because you can program these using Python, which is relatively easy to pick up. far as things are concerned. And there's build guides for it. So if you want to walk through everything you need, and these are completely fully compatible with your standard Euro rack, pop them in. They got a nice OLED display. I just think it's really, really slick.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, don't care about synthesizers, but still, this is one of those things I wanted to share with the people that do. And I think this what really blew me away with just looking at the build guide here. I'm like, you really took some time with this.
Yeah. And his the video is really good too. It goes in extreme detail, and even all the different scripts that are available to run in Python. That's really cool. And I like some of the names. Like he had one that was called Hamlet, and one that's called Strange Attractor and the Turing Machine, and they all produce different sounds at different frequencies. And this is just it's really cool because I'm a huge fan of synth music, and a lot of the synth musicians are actually no strangers to programming. So having a Python based module seems right up their alley, because even in the older days before everything was computer generated, when you were using analog synths, those were essentially scripts they were making with their modular Moogs. And doing all the patch cabling and whatnot. That was to remember all their sequence. It was like writing scripts. So in today's day, using Python is a lot easier.
Yeah, I think this is just extraordinarily neat. And
yeah, it's amazing.
There's 24 projects going on right now with scripts that users have contributed. You can work on your own. Python's reasonably easy to pick up yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you don't want to deal with like soldering and all this. This is the neat part. You can get a complete DIY kit. Now, you got to put it together yourself. I shouldn't have said that. What I meant to say is, like, if you don't want to like source all the individual parts, you can get a bag with everything in it for like 106 pounds, which I think is incredibly reasonable.
Yeah, it really is.
For this. And it's a slick looking, it's something you absolutely wouldn't mind having sitting in your rack. I think it looks nice. So there you go. Links in the show notes. Of course, build your own. And, I really wish we would see some of this technology with like DSP processing getting what it is with, compressors, limiters, and other things that I typically use. Like I would like to see, expansion modules. My brain goes into a lot of places. I'm like, yeah, synths are neat, but how about the stuff I want?
Yeah. Yes. I see that for, to progress audio as well.
Just to do neat things. And this is absolutely neat. All right. That's it. We've run for 34 minutes and 42 seconds, Jill. So we need to run some credits.
Okay. Time for some credits.
We got a credit? Boom. Look at that. Hey, Basil. Yes. Thanks for that resub. 39.
Yay, Basil. Thank you. And thanks again to Jonas Rulio for his new patronage. Very nice. And hopefully we'll see you in Discord soon. And look at all our wonderful executive producers.
I'm going to use IRC, man.
Yeah.
Some people are like that.
Yeah.
Some
That's
people
cool,
go,
too.
Way out of their way. Like, man, I got Discord working through, like, whatever it's called now. Like, it's not libpurple. What is the game? Is it game still? We'll have to look that up in the after show.
Yeah, you can run it, you can patch it through Matrix and all kinds of things.
All right. See you next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Dak, what level of not paying attention were you?
Did you just roll the credits?
Yeah,
we did
all
a
right,
quick show.
Everybody. We've been running 34 minutes. We got to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Let's roll some credits. Like, what do you mean unceremoniously roll credit? How dare you? I sat on the remote? Not out of what, protest?
Yeah. I sat on the remote. And Nemo.
Maybe we can do that next week, which is mid-sentence, just roll credits.
Yeah.
Always say goodbye. Try to keep the show around 30 minutes. We did a longer show, like 34 minutes.
Yeah. We seem to average between 30 and 40, 30 and 42, maybe.
Try to keep it 30. That was the whole original tagline of this show, in 30 minutes or less.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be like just a pop in, have some fun, pop out show, not a
I went to the end of the next show.
It went to the end of the next show?
I guess last week.
Ah. All right.
Yeah, last week was fun too.
We have that together. Let's make sure. Let's go investigate the folder. We got a nice little 113 gigabyte file.
Nice.
Nice. And yeah, Reaper's been pretty easy to use on the desktop to record the shows along with the live stream, to record the live shows. I haven't had any problems
nice.
with it. Does a really good job. Why don't you use the DAW I use, Ven? Because I don't.
Ven's used all the different DAWs.
That doesn't matter, but I'm not talking about the one they use. Or if I was using the one they use, somebody else like, well, what about the one I use? He's like,
aw, hi AutoPres. You just missed
nailed
the show.
Just in time.
We're in the after show now. Yeah, it was AutoPres. Thank you.
You can. I really wish I could tell you a good time to come pop in on Sundays to come watch me, but somewhere between like 11 and 1.
Yeah.
Like I've given up trying to set a date. A time, I should say. Date I can handle. Hey, fate has had nothing but jolly laughs at me on Sunday mornings, like throwing stuff in my direction. I'm like, really? Okay. All right. So by the time we get around to it, so if you're curious about how this stuff gets stuck together, and that's a good place to ask all of your questions, like your long form questions. Because I see that sometimes we'll be in the middle of a show and somebody will ask like, well, that's going to require like 10 minutes of explanation. So that's a good place to ask those questions. What about your untrusty podcatcher? You got one of those? Do you got like a shifty podcatcher? Like one you'd go hang out with, but you really wouldn't trust in a bar fight? Really, they wouldn't come get you out of jail. Oh man, G-Potter's still around too.
Yeah, G-Potter is the one I've been using for years, and I still use it on desktop.
Oh, you peasant, you gotta use Amarok. Amarok's dead. It's been dead, hasn't it?
It's been dead.
What replaced Amarok? It's the same. They changed the name.
Yeah.
To something else.
Was it the orange? No. I'm thinking of a different one. A separate. Orange Player? Orange? Yeah, they put Amarok in with another application, and I can't remember what the name of it was. Clementine. I'm thinking of Clementine. Elisa. Okay. See, that's why that's a name I would never remember. But yes, I like Clementine too. That's a nice one. But I like G-Potter because it's web-based also, so you can...
It's bare bones, man. I mean, it gets the job done, right?
It gets the job done, yeah.
No frills. I mean, G-Potter's like how I would roll, but what do I like for podcast? Yeah, Google Podcast, basically. Not from like I have no love for like Google Podcasts. That was a happy little accident because I remember when like Google finally released its podcast application. I was like, really? About time? Finally, a little late to the game, Google. And I'd used it just to play around. And before that, I used the one on Android that has the orange logo. Somebody's going to know the one I'm talking about. It's like that default one when you search for
Oh, okay.
podcast. App development.
Spacing on names right now
I don't
because
even know
I've
that.
been using so many different ones. I've been using even Spotify, iHeartRadio. I kind of go back and forth. And I have a group of podcasts on one app and then another on another. I kind of don't
See, I
keep
don't
them
do
all
that,
together.
I gotta keep them all synced. That's the only reason I've stuck with a Google podcast.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like,
Cass. Yeah, Cass is a good one.
I think my big thing is like there's no need for me personally to have a podcast application on my desktop. Like in 2005, that was a different story.
I know. Mostly I'm using mobile ones
Yeah,
these
in
days.
2005, I didn't have 9 tablets laying around the house casually. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm glad the video for Gamescope worked out. That's why I made it, because some people either didn't know about it or didn't quite understand, like reading the GitHub page, because I read the GitHub page and I looked at it. I'm like, that's not that clear, especially.
Oh, AntennaPod for Android. I couldn't come up with the name of that one forever. AntennaPod. I got that in F-Droid. That's a really good one for Android.
You know what? Here's the thing, Doc. It can be ugly if it's fast. That's a trade-off also. I will trade speed for beauty any day of the week. Like, it doesn't need... But if you're slow, you better be pretty.
Yeah, AntennaPod has been around for a long time too. It's my early years of using Android. It was there. It was based off of one from WebOS as well. And the one on WebOS I used to love. But AntennaPod kind of took that over.
Well, one thing I'm blown away by is best I can tell, because I don't do any type of outside of the most basic of basic metric tracking for our podcast, because I host our podcast. We pay out of pocket for that. You know, it's not like at Last FM or any place like that. No, it's on our own CDN. But I can look at like Apple, right? Because Apple keeps track of how many people download and watch it through the iTunes. Mm-hmm. And the best I can, because I do our listenership by just how many terabytes is downloaded every month. And I just break that and divide that by the size of the podcast. And that's like my number right there. But something like last time I added that up, it was like 6% of our listeners are on iDevices, which seems like a lot.
Yeah. Aw, that's nice, Rule Spider.
Yeah, compiling it's pretty straightforward. As long as you have a recent, like I couldn't compile it on Debian 11, so I was able to compile it on Debian. What did I use? Let me see. Where did I put this software thing? I spent so much time making this silly thumbnail. That's even the McDowell's McDonald's.
It is.
People.
It's so cute.
Right?
Yeah.
Deep cuts.
McGamescope. I love that.
Did we? Yeah, this is like, it's super straightforward. You don't have to do anything crazy with it. I even got the instructions. Arch, I think Arch is right. And yeah, clone the Git, Mason, Ninja, done. And these were like I was trying to explain the examples, because this is vague kind of on the GitHub page.
Okay.
Like what does what? You know, because you get like, say I want to render the game at 1440, but I want to play it full screen on my UHD display, and I want to upscale it with FSR, and I want it to be in a borderless window, but I also want to do a Mango HUD up there, just how to do that. Or if you just want to render a full screen game in a 1080p window, between those two commands and the useful options segment, you should be able to figure out how to get everything up and running. Yeah, Debian 12. Well, Debian 12 is not. I'm running Debian testing. It's a couple of versions behind. That's why. Oh man, the difference. Yeah, FSR doesn't look like rewarmed microwaved hamster.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it looks bad. It looks bad. Like you know, as much as I didn't get DLSS until like I knew it existed. We didn't get to play with it on Linux until late in the game. Might have been early last year or late year before last when they had enabled so we could use DLSS in Quake or Doom, the new Doom, not the new Doom, but the first new Doom, Doom 64.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was able to, on a 2060, put on DLSS. You know, I'd seen screenshots of it and sliders and all that. I'm like, whatever. I was able to play Doom on a 2060 6 gig at UHD on high, and it looked good, and it was running at 60. I'm like, all right, I get it now. 100% I get this.
Yeah. I need to install GameScope on a couple of my gaming rigs. I obviously have it on my Steam Deck. And I hook up my Steam Deck to the monitor and use it as a computer a lot. In fact, I did some of our show notes this week on my Steam Deck.
I mean, that sounds like a personal problem, Jill Bryant. I'm
No,
sorry,
it's a great
all of
little
your computers
computer.
died where you had to use your Steam Deck to do show notes.
Oh,
Somewhere Gabe's crying a little bit. He's like, oh,
no. I love using my deck. Jill, yeah. I got so many computers that I do. You know, every time I get a new computer,
you say
a
you
vintage
do show
computer.
notes and everybody in the room looks at you and goes, why? Ew.
Yeah.
Maybe you sneeze too hard.
Every time every machine, that's one way I keep them running is to do show notes on them. Even my ancient machines.
That's a good excuse to keep them around. Like, I need them for show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, GameScope is it's handy. I have to use it for what got me looking into GameScope initially was the new Trackmania game. Not new, well, I mean the one that came out in 2020, but it came to Steam a few months ago. And it does the same thing as Trackmania Stadium does. That's what I said in the video. It's got two options. You can run it at 1080p window, or you can run it full screen at whatever resolution your monitor is set at. That's all. It ignores all other settings. It doesn't care. It just laughs at you. Now, fortunately, my 3060 can play the 11-year-old Trackmania Squared at 4K. No problem. At 60 FPS. Fine.
Yeah.
No complaints. Can't do that with 2020, and it was chuggy. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. What's the way around this? GameScope, I knew GameScope existed. But I went looking into it, and I'm like, this is opaque how to do this. And it was able to give me that full screen. And it's also good for putting games that don't have a window. If you're a streamer and you need to get something in a window so you can stream it and still use your desktop, to get games that don't have windowed mode, these games exist.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
And you can force them into a 1080p window. Yeah. Or whatever size window that you want.
That's going to make life so much easier for you, Vin, because you've run into that quite a bit.
Well, that's one thing and it's not just me. Anybody who does any amount of streaming, usually, more often than not, they will be on one monitor, not even two. So their desktop real estate is hyper valuable to them, and you stream in a window so you can have other things open. Like I do here. And, I've talked to developers personally. I'm like, yo, the reason nobody's streaming your game, man, here's why. You need to add and not even just for me. I'm just like, I don't even plan on streaming your game. I'm just letting you know here when we're doing the reviews. Retro Windows games. Yeah, if I was doing like Windows games, I'd just run them in like I'd run Wine in like the desktop mode. And yeah, I don't know about Steam Deck. I don't have a Steam Deck yet because I can't figure out what I'd want to do with one. I've tried. I've thought about it.
I do love it. I end up using it just about as much as any of my other computers because I'm also using it in desktop mode. And testing games on it is always good. And
well, you need to buy The Last of Us because Strider assures us that The Last of Us runs perfectly fine. Even though the entirety of everybody ever
looks like a PS2.
It looks bad, it runs bad, it struggles. It's like, it runs like fine. You all don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I mean,
oh yeah, Autopress Railroad Tycoon too. Yeah, I love the Railroad Tycoon series. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I never get into like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Railroad. Yeah,
I love all that. Yeah, those I get really into.
I think the last time I got out of the management series was when I was in a game store and I walked by and I saw Sim Ant. I'm like, get out of here with this.
Yeah. Well, I like the Roller Coaster Tycoon and those kind of. I like building roller coasters and then riding them. That's. I'm not so into doing the managing the amusement park as much as riding the rides when I'm done.
Well, I'd be down with it if they had like the equivalent of like Kerbal Roller Coaster Tycoon,
yeah,
like where there were no restrictions on teardrop loops. So like.
Yeah.
How many fatalities did we suffer from that one? I'm like, okay, we need to get that down to like 0.
2 Point Campus. Okay. Don't know that one. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up now. Yeah, that one I haven't played.
Yeah, there's nothing.
University. Oh God, that is cool. Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna add that to my wish list.
I haven't seen anything lately. I went looking the other day. I'm like, I need something. Oh man, see, this was like my thing. I was so psyched up about playing The Last of Us. Like, I haven't been looking for.
I know.
Like a little background game, because I always try to keep like some type of little background game when I got like 20 or 30 minutes to sit down.
Yeah.
And I went looking. I'm like, I can't think of. I don't know. Is there anything out right now that isn't bad? Oh. I was curious about the Valkyrie Elysium.
Oh yeah.
But that's got mixed reviews. Evil West looks fun, but Evil West does not look $50 fun. And like the games I'm waiting on that I know I'm going to spend all the time in, like Crowsworn and Hollow Knight Silksong. I'm kind of interested in the Lord of the Rings Gollum, but I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, me too. And I want to play Harry Potter too. I'm just waiting for it to have a little bit of a sale, just because I don't want to pay full price.
That's why I'm almost somebody like growing up over the, especially like effectively spending 2 decades with there might be a Linux title released every now and then.
Yeah.
Like, I got patience, man. Like, I'm not like, there's no FOMO. I did that, I bought Spider-Man on day 1 and I wasn't able to play it for 6 months. I was like, I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. I'm done with this. I don't like bad PC ports. Like, it's a shame. They had all the time to get this done, or they could have held off on it. And I don't think there's anything like upcoming though, like any big titles upcoming that I'm looking forward to. There might be. I just can't think of them right now.
Yeah.
Like outside of my super hard platforming stuff like the Hollow Knight games, which, I wouldn't mind another Ori game. Those are fun.
I'm looking for some the new Portal mods that are supposed to be coming out this year. There's a couple of them, and those I get excited about because that's one of my favorite things. My favorite games is Portal and Portal 2, and I go through all the workshop games on Steam and love those, and I've been through many mods, and to me, it just it keeps the franchise alive and it creates many more hours of gameplay, which makes me happy. I just love it.
There are games to be played though. Yeah. But I got a couple of games that I need to finish, but if I'm going to finish them, I'm going to finish them on stream. Like Black Mesa. I'm not touching that unless I'm streaming. As I said, I was going to finish that online. And I've played that game in
that's right.
9 months, and I'm in a spot right now to where I'm going to have to live, die, repeat probably for like 2 hours to get through it.
Yeah.
Because I have like 3 bullets and an army on the other side. I'm like, no. Yeah, Silksong, I'm going to disappear in Silksong. Like Hollow Knight's one of those rare games that I have.
That gets you in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to sound like peasant numbers, but I got stuff to do. But like, I got like 60 hours or like 80 hours in Hollow Knight, and that's an extraordinary amount of time for me to put into a single game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because when you're busy reviewing them, you don't always have time to just play leisurely.
My time to sit and play games is very tidy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been running into that as well. And I have like the other day I sat down, I was going through my library. Okay, what game do I want to play? And another problem is when you have so many in your library, you get overwhelmed. And it's like, there's so many games to play. What do I want to play? And then I get stuck in a loop. And then I have 3 different accounts. I got my account, my Linux Chicks LA account, and Steve Husband. And so I have different games on all those accounts. And
you can just set up family sharing for those.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I have in the past. In fact, I was one of the early beta testers of family sharing with Valve.
This got so much stuff
years ago. Yeah, me and my brother, we used to do the family sharing. But the problem is you can't do multiplayer with family share, so...
Oh, yeah, but that's not going to hurt you in single player.
Yeah, no, exactly. So the single player games are just fine. But I had to, like, my husband, I had to set up him a separate account so that we could play multiplayer games together. Like golf with your friends and simple things like that. But I had forgotten how many games I have, like on my husband's account, there's like 100 games. And then I have another like 200 on the Linux Chicks account because I had to buy another copy to play multiplayer. And there's just so much, but I love it all.
So you're a fan of my Hollow Knight index? Good. I'm glad you enjoy my Hollow Knight index. I think that's a valid metric for anybody who is familiar with how much game is in Hollow Knight.
Oh yeah, that's a great game.
Level of quality, and it's $14.99. It's $14.99.
You get lots of hours.
Enjoyable. It's so well done, and it's so reasonably priced. I think criminally underpriced for what it is. I mean, I would still break out the Hollow Knight index if it was a $29.99. And I think it's important to break that out. When we were talking about a game last week during the review, which was a fun little puzzle game, but it was like $40. I'm like, this thing cost as much as 2 Hollow Knights. This is not 2 Hollow Knights worth of game at all in any shape or way. You got a price for the right market.
Yeah.
But, like, who's going to listen to me?
Oh, yeah, Rule Spider. I do love, Golf with Your Friends is one that I could sink a lot of hours into. And we have here. We've played it quite a bit on the network.
Golf with Your Friends. Like, the game I have the most time in is Trackmania, because we do it on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yes, same here, Ben.
Like, I have something like 500 hours in that game.
Yeah. Shell shock.
Shellshock, we got, you know what? I don't think I have anywhere near as much time. How much time do I have for Shellshock? We can find out.
I need to look at my...
There was an update. We played the update in the after shows on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Then Saturday.
Shellshock Live. There it is. I have 35 hours, and all 35 of those hours is playing it for like 30 minutes at a time in the after show. What do I have in the new Trackmania game? I have 98 hours, which is impressive, but that's number's not true because this game doesn't like to close. This is one of those Ubisoft Connect titles that uses the Ubisoft launcher. So when you close the game, the launcher will stay up and running. And Steam counts that as the game still running.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how much time. I probably say, I would say I got like at least 40 hours in it. I feel, what do we have? 606 hours in Trackmania Stadium. So yeah.
Yeah. I got 250 hours because you started doing it. I started like the 5th or 6th week, something like that. Mm-hmm. But you were playing it before I was.
Rocket League, I have 225 hours in. Last played January 20th, 2020. Yeah, Jordan plays Romello every now and then. Jordan's going to be doing, I need to go ahead and give that a plug. I forgot to do it during the live show, but if you're around, he's going to be playing Strange Brigade tomorrow at noon Eastern. So 3 hours before this show goes live, because he's on holiday this week. So if you're in Europa, or thereabouts, and have been like, hey man, I'd like to join in, because he normally does it at like 7:30 p.m. There's your chance. Just ping him in Discord and be like, hey, I want to play. I think 3 people can join in. I know Mir's been joining in, and Joe's been joining in. I don't know if my schedule is going to line up tomorrow in order for me to pop in. Maybe, but I don't want to, like, I don't even want to commit to like a hard maybe on that, because I got some stuff I got to take care of. Well, we went through Left 4 Bread. We completed Left 4 Bread, and we played.
Oh yeah,
we've just played Left 4 Bread to death.
Yeah.
We just played it so much, and we're always on the lookout, man. We might try Fall Guys. I played around because Jordan can play Fall Guys. The problem with Fall Guys is I don't know how many people we can get in a party. Jordan says it's 2. It seems like you should be able to get more than 2, and I'm going to have to take a look at that. And Loco Soccer is really fun to play.
That's a cute game. It's fun watching you guys play it.
It's just silly. So, and the next thing we're going to do, myself, Jordan, and Pedro, is Dark Alliance. To go through that busted mess. We're going to put that off as long as possible. That, or until they release Another Trine. Another Trine comes out, we'll play that too. All right, everybody. We're about at 4:25. We're going to wind this down because I'm going to go make a podcast.
Yeah.
So you can get it in your podcatcher and G-Podder. It'll show up.
And Antenna Pod and Spotify and iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
And iTunes and Google Podcasts.
One thing I don't like about Spotify, Spotify finally like finished merging with Anchor.
Yeah.
Because Spotify bought Anchor forever ago, and they finally it's a mess right now getting it logged in. And for like video, I upload. What I end up doing is uploading the video to Spotify and let Spotify make the audio. They don't give me an option to like, here's pristine MP3 ready to go. They're like, no, we'll take care of it. Just upload the video. Like, fine. Oh, make no apologies. Well, I guess maybe I make some apologies, but it's out of my control. I mean, it sounds fine, whatever, but, they bust it down to 44.1, which means it gets tethered. But the video's fine, I guess. Like, I haven't had any complaints. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we finished all the trends. Every single one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Spotify's Android app is probably the most hilarious, even on an octa-core tablet, a Samsung with 8 cores, it's a chunky experience trying to navigate that thing. I basically use Spotify to check our shows. That's about it. All right. Cool, everybody. We will see you next week. I think we're going to have some emails.
Yeah.
Next week.
Cool.
Because I've been sitting on a couple. Might as well. We'll go ahead and put them in the show.
Cool.
All right, everybody.
Aw, bye, everyone. Bye, Mir. Bye, Steve Husband. Bye, Roll Spider. Nice to see you.
As they say on the Klingon homeworld of Kronos. Toodles.
Toodles. Joy, Ju.